Hello everyone and welcome to another Halloo Sees It review. Tonight I'm reviewing the card game Squirmish, published by Gamewright Games, and it is created and illustrated by Stephen Stwally. And it is a 2 to 4 player card game in which the players will be battling it out with these pretty silly characters. And it is actually a pretty fun little game. The gameplay itself is very easy to learn, which is good, and it's kind of a take that card game, right? You are battling it out with all the other players with your creatures against theirs, and the first to take out 3 creatures is going to be the winner. And of course they give variants so that, if you want a longer game, you could make, instead of 3, you can make it 4 or 5 until the game ends there. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what's in the box. First of all, it's a decent size box. It's not huge, but it's also not really tiny. It has 3 different compartments here. All of the cards will fit in here, and you can fit all of the googly eye counters there, and the 4 dice included in there as well. So the box is a little bit bigger than it probably needs to be, but it's not too crazy on the size there. So this is the stack of cards here, along with what else is shown there. As far as all of these cards are all different. There are no repeats in the deck, which is part of something that I really like about the game, is introducing this game to new players. You're not going to get through maybe even half this deck, maybe a quarter of the deck. And so each time you play, there's going to be new, different characters, most likely, playing with different people. And so that's something that's a real bonus, is all of those cards are different, and they're really fun to read through those and kind of try to come up with a strategy for the different cards that are out at the time. So that's big bonus. I was really... I don't know if I should have been, but I was kind of surprised to see that there were no repeats. I was very happy to see that, and a big reason why I like this game a lot is all of the different characters, because they're all pretty funny. They have some funny taglines, the different powers and abilities. It's just really fun to kind of get to know all the different characters, and as new ones come up, it's fun to see how they can interact and how to best use those characters given the certain game that you're playing at the time. So that's a really big bonus for me. The artwork on the cards is really great. It's kind of a fun style. Again, it's fairly unique, I think, in its style. I don't know that I'd be able to necessarily compare it to something, but it sounds like I believe Stephen Stwally is an illustrator, and so I think he does a great job with the illustrations in the game. It comes with plenty of little counter tokens. These are used in the game when dealing attack damage to people. If I do 2 damage to this person's character there, I'd go and place 2 there to show that it has been damaged by 2. This big number in the corner on the cards is the hit points that character has, and as soon as there's 7 or more on this card, then it would be knocked out. Whoever knocked out that card would gain it in front of them as a trophy. And again, first to 3 in a normal game would then be the winner. So as the game progresses, let me just quickly show you the basics of the game. Basics, this is, there's a few cards laid out here. If it's this person's turn here, whenever you lay a card down, you're going to be laying it down so that it faces you, so you can read the text of the card. That's how you keep track of who the different characters belong to. So these two would belong to me, these two belong to the player to my left, and this guy here would belong to the player to the right. And to start out your turn, what you're going to do is perform an attack action. So I'm going to choose one of my characters, and I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to use Zebobazub here to attack Foxy Lion. So you make that declaration, and then the game includes 4 green kind of unique dice here. And what we're going to do is, it is 1 through 6, and each of the cards, when you attack, what you're going to do is you're just going to roll the die. So that's where a good portion of the luck comes in. There's a luck element of what cards you draw, of course, but then all of your attacks are based on the die roll. So here, again, a terrible roll of 1, no effect. So basically, my attack that turn did no damage. That's the end of my attack phase there. So then I move on to the next phase, which is I can either play a card or move a card. So you have a maximum of 5 characters out. So if from my hand, I could place another character down. Pretty easy. You just need to place it adjacent to another card. I can't place it like off in the Boony Lands here. I have to place it adjacent. The other thing I could do instead of place a new card is move. And in order to do that, what I could do is you just switch with an adjacent card. So for him to move, I would just swap these two, and that would be my movement. And then after that, you can draw a card into your hand. If you have more than 5 cards, you're going to need to discard one of those into a discard pile. And that is the turn. And like I said, the game itself is as simple as that, choosing what character you want to attack with to what character you can attack, and rolling the die and seeing what happens. So in this case, if I were to roll 2 through 5, 2 damage, most of the specials are going to be rolling a 6. And usually that does either a higher amount of damage or something a lot more powerful than that. In this case, Darnation here, knockout and place in your victory pile, even if you are attacking a card you control. So usually, you're going to be attacking other characters. And if you attacked your own character, usually that would just go to the discard pile if you knock out your own. But in this case, you would be able to count that as a victory trophy for yourself. This one also has a special ability, like many of them might. And this symbol occurs basically any time or special. So if any player knocked out a card other than this one, roll a die. On a 6, the card goes in your victory pile. So that one is pretty nice because it's always just that chance, right? So if they don't take out this character first, anytime any other character gets knocked out, his special ability, I get to roll a die. If it's a 6, I actually get that trophy card. So again, 1 in 6 chance that will happen. With me rolling, it probably would never happen because I never seem to roll 6s in this game. But it's really, really fun. I'm going to show you just a few other cards to give you a flavor of some of the other types of things. But leave the rest of the cards for you guys to discover on your own there. The other thing you may notice is most of them have this white border. Some of them have a certain color along the outside here, and that means they're a group. And it's just a special grouping of cards. So all of these are like canine related. So these are crew canine. And so they have some special things associated with it. This does twice the damage to other members. So if I'm attacking this guy over here, and I roll and I get a 4. I would usually do 2 damage, but since I'm attacking someone else of this variety, he would actually take 4 damage. And there's a few different groupings of cards, and there's like 4 per grouping, I believe, for most of those. So it adds a unique element to the game there. And again, everyone has different special abilities. They also have these funny little taglines. Some of my favorite ones here, Puffo here, he is actually just a really nice card to have. I really like having him. He has Scaly Hide, which just makes it so he takes 1 less damage from all attacks. So he's a nice character to get out there early, just because it gets you some attack, but he's fairly safe. This one you need to strategically place because he's very weak. As you can see, he only has 1 hit point, but he is very, very powerful in his attacks. So if you can, get him on the outside and get him in a spot where you can have him on the board and then get back to you so you can do some damage, it can be very, very powerful. It just is love his cute widow fella. So, if someone attacks him, he can roll the die, and 4 through 6, the attack fails because he's just so darn cute. And but he's Kilgore the Conqueror is who this is, and he does some huge damage, which is really fun. And then you have this guy, the little Warhead. If you roll 1 through 5, it doesn't do anything. But if you do roll a 6, you put up your nukes. It's 5 damage to all cards in play, including yours. This card can't move, attack, or be attacked for the rest of the game. So it can do serious damage to all the cards, which is pretty funny. And it has a special ability, Half-Life. On your turn, all cards adjacent to this card take 1 damage, which is really nice to have that guaranteed damage in the game where you don't even need to roll the die, but you're doing damage. So anyway, it gives you an idea and a flavor of the different cards, the movement, different attacks. Again, it is very luck-based, and you're going to be tied to the results of these die rolls and what cards you draw. But the game goes fairly quick. It's going to take, depending on how long you guys take to make decisions, read the cards, and look at all of that. But it takes maybe a half hour to 45 minutes to play a game. So it's still fairly quick, and it's really fun to play, really funny cards, and really fun to see all the different types of abilities and how you can try to utilize those during each game. There's definitely some cards that are better than others, but I don't see that as too much of an issue. It's just kind of a challenge to everyone to try to figure out how to address those what they seem like more powerful cards during that game. You may want to try to team up with someone to take out that card before it takes out everyone else. But the game's really quick too, so once the game's over, go ahead and start another one. And so yeah, that is Squirmish. Really like it. It's from Game Right Games, and that is how Lou sees it.